This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Before taking any action based on the information provided on this channel, it is recommended that you seek the advice of a professional licensed financial advisor.
Let's do this.
All right, guys, this is like my 97th freaking solution, in air quotes, to resolve this video quality. I mean, it's 2022 and all I'm trying to do is a fucking screen record. But apparently it's impossible. I just bought the brand new Samsung S8 Ultra, the 14.6 inch or whatever tablet, because it has a built-in screen recorder that allows me to do this, that, and the other. But the screen recorder is only in 1080p. So then when I'm uploading the videos, due to the size of the screen, the quality is dog shit. So I'm trying this using two different devices, my MacBook and my iPad, using Sidecar, so that I have a pencil at the same time as having a 4K video recorder or screen recorder. So this is not my final attempt. I'll figure this out if it kills me, but I'm just letting you know that's what's been going on with the video recording. Or rather, the video quality. Well, enough of that shit. Let's jump into the charts. Okay, here we've got the 2 hour on Bitcoin. You can see that this large gap here that's been created between the lines on the Ichimoku cloud. And this one is going straight, and this one's opening, and this is that whale mouth I was telling you about. So it's basically pulling into here, and quite honestly, it's probably going to go below this line here, but we don't know yet. We'll figure that out. But if you saw my video yesterday, you follow me on Twitter, you're on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, you'll have seen that I noticed this. This is showing you the overbought signals on the stochastic slow. So, here's one, which correlates with there. So there was a dip down. Here's another one, which correlates with there, which resulted in this dip all the way down here, where you had the signal of oversold. Then it shoots up to here, where it goes out again. And then this drops down to here, which is this one. And then it comes up for a second and drops down to here, which is that one. So you've got this retracement, this retracement. So you can see all the different corresponding lines that are occurring here. So in the different percentages for each of these are as follows. So you've got 25% for this drop, 40% for this drop, 48% for this drop to here, and then 64% for this drop here down to here. So these are huge drops. I mean, even the 25% back here is nothing to shake a stick at. So the question now becomes, what happens here? Where is this going to? Now, this line here, sorry about that, I apparently have everything going off right now, but this line down here, this one is the 84% reset from the all-time high, and the all-time high being up here. So once it's reached this line down here, it's then reached the 84%. And why that's significant is because in the 2017 bull run, at the end of that, we came down 84%, and we just haven't come down that far yet. So it's obviously not conclusive evidence that that's where we're going to go, but when you start looking at everything, it indicates that we're in for a pullback, to put it mildly here. So to get a better idea of what's actually going on here, we're going to zoom in on this particular area and get an idea of what's been going on since June 22nd, when we started this upward broadening yellow wedge that you see here. So I'm going to zoom in. So this is the same yellow wedge, but this time on the 4 hour. So we also have this red upward narrowing wedge in here, which is another bearish signal because it's supposed to break down out of there. It's supposed to break down out of the yellow. But we do have, obviously, right now, all of this bullish momentum that's been taking off in here. And the question there is, why? So let's zoom in even further yet. So we came down this channel here with a hit, 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 hit. Then we broke into this yellow channel. Now originally, I thought it was going to be more like connecting these two, then connecting these two, because you had up, down, breakout. So this channel was still a real channel. But then when, it broke back up, now we've got these 2 points as the hits and these 2 points as the other side. So we went from here to there to here to there, and now we got to come back down. This will give us the breakout of the red, and then we're going to break out of this orange. And then we also have this other white sideways symmetrical wedge that's forming. And you can see that here. So this is actually going down, this is actually going up. And we need to move this now as of last night. So now we actually have, excuse me, an upward narrowing wedge instead. So realistically, it serves no purpose anymore, and we can just get rid of it because it ended up being a bust. And now you've got the red in its place, which is doing enough. And if you come down and look at the actual RSI here, you can see that comparing price here, this orange upward line and this corresponding downward line on the RSI is what we call bearish divergence. And for those of you that don't know what that means, that is a bearish indicator that things are going to start retracing. But we can actually already see that coming from the cloud here as the green and the red are separating. And when this happens, like you'll see on the different time frames, you start to pull these candles down into it. So we're currently on the 4 hour. Here's the 5 hour. Now these haven't separated yet here. They're not quite separated, but they are laying flat. And laying flat, while it's not a mouth, in air quotes, as I have referred to it before, as, this thing starts to open and this is like this, and, the candles start working their way down into the mouth. Even though it's not that, it is the flat surface. So these will start to move down. Then you'll see it pop up like this, and this will continue to lay flat, and then you'll probably see something like this, maybe even a second jot up while this continues to stay flat, and then it'll work its way in here. And like I said before, we're trying to get to a position where we're going to break down out of this ascending, narrowing red wedge, which, zoomed out, you saw a second ago. And as we continue to jump up here through the time frames, you got the 6 hour. These are still pointed pretty straight up. 7 hour is actually jotted off to the right. You've got the 8 hour. These are sort of starting to lay down, but nothing too significant yet. But I mean, a big thing to notice here would be the height difference. So this is really, the cloud is really lagging behind how far it's taken off, which is a further bearish indicator that things are going to start to pull back down. So there's quite a lot of different ways that you can see this stuff. I mean, not the least of which is this one too. Looking at the stochastic slow here, this is the overbought, and then it came down. We've got another overbought signal, and now it's coming down. And this holds true as you continue all the way through the weekly, which I just showed you a second ago. But here we have the 10 hour, 11, 12, 16, 20, nothing too significant here. And then the daily, I don't want to say it has mixed signals because it's not mixed, but we haven't quite reached the overbought section. We were up there earlier, but as the candle continues to unfold here during the day, it'll retrace back below it, and you just got to stay on it and see where it's headed from there. But, you know, as you jump up into the 2-day, you're already in it. 3-day, touching. 4-day, in it. 5-day, in it. And weekly, in it, like I was showing you earlier. So, I mean, we're definitely overbought. You know, just because we're not there on the daily anymore, one, doesn't mean we won't close out there. I mean, it's 12 noon here Eastern Standard Time. So there's a good chance that we're going to get back up in here. But we don't need to get up in there. You know, you can come up and just miss this and still be considered overbought. It's just not as blatant as, you know, would otherwise be the case. And as you look at the cloud here, the cloud is coming up. This is coming up. There's still a decent amount of space in between here. You know, it's not quite what we had back here or back here when we pulled these down, but there's still a decent amount of space. They're not laying on top of each other like you can see back here on, you know, no, not the 4 hour, 7 hour. Yeah, 7 hour, how they're basically touching. But you can also see here on the 7 hour that the red is about to, you know, go up and the green is going to come down. And as this unfolds, you're probably going to see that exact thing happen as it begins to work its way down to the downside. But that's all I've got for you here today, guys. It's just going to be one of those days where you're going to wait to watch these candles come back down. So for all of you that have, you know, been in a short and you're sort of freaking out because you can't explain what the hell happened here, I mean, a lot of that could be the news. I mean, I know a lot of people have been talking about numbers coming out and so on, and they were better than expected, and the Fed lowered interest rates or something to that effect. I mean, that's over my head. That's not really what I do here. I just look at the charts. So the charts didn't do anything, I don't want to say unexpected, because it was somewhat unexpected with all the bearish signals that we've had, but it didn't violate any laws. It didn't violate any rules. It continued to do what it does. You just had to react to it, because what you may have called, you know, back here, this being something like this where it continues to come down, wasn't the case. You know, it came down a little bit and then shot up, and that may not have been seen, but you still have an upward broadening wedge in the orange. You know, you still have your 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's going to work its way down and break out. So you're still following the rules. It's just, this is what I mean by technical analysis. You've got to stay on it to know what's happening and unfolding, and that's why I want to put these videos out quickly. I mean, I'm already at 13 minutes right now on this video, and that's longer than I ever want to be, but a lot has happened. A lot of people have freaked out. My friends have hit me up like, hey dude, what the fuck is going on with Bitcoin? You know, I ended in a short, and I forgot to take profits or whatever, and because I didn't think that it would be any point in taking them here, because I didn't expect this to happen. So I was just going to continue to let it go down, because obviously execution is another thing that you have to be concerned about. You can fuck up an execution and end up, you know, being no better off. You know, you're paying fees and so on, but you know, you could see that these were getting closer, and you could see that something was about to brew. But because at that point, you know, you had maybe the orange line here. Oh, actually, let me see that. No, that was this one, where it was like this. So you had your 1, 2, 3, 4, and you were going to break down. So at that point, you thought you were just going to go down further. You know, granted, you usually have an up before you go down and up before you go down, because like a snake, these things zigzag. It doesn't just free fall as a general rule. But we didn't have that. So a lot of people have been freaking out up here, but don't freak out. You know, your shorts should survive. There's nothing here that I see that's screaming bullishness like all these crazy people on YouTube are. So stick by your guns, and I'll see you guys in the next video.